Oh, this is Chuck, and welcome to the How to Defeat These video blog. So the weather is finally nice enough out here so that I can get outside of my house and do a little bit of filming outside. So here I am. Now it might look like I'm in the middle of some dense Asian bamboo forest, but actually I'm on the roof of a building near my house that has the coolest Starbucks that I know of in Japan. So I wanted to take a video here to show you guys. Now as cool as this place is, it's also a huge hangout for Japanese moms in the middle of the day. So there may be like some children running around, or you may hear like babies crying in the background or something, and if so, I'm sorry. Let's hope not. So this video blog is for Christopher Wake, who was watching a previous How to Defeat Dudes blog on the levels of self-defense and wanted to have a much more in-depth treatment on how exactly to talk your way out of a street fight. When I was first asked to make a video on this topic, I wasn't quite comfortable with it because I thought it was a little bit too broad of a topic to cover in so short of a time frame. You know, there's just so many different reasons that people get into conflict with each other, so many reasons that people get into actual physical confrontations and physical fights, and you know, so many people have different personalities and different kinds of things that they're receptive to while others aren't receptive to it. The more I thought about it, however, and the more people asked me about it, the more I really came to realize that this really was something that was kind of important to discuss. So as such, I'm gonna just try anyway. Wow, all of a sudden it's kind of chilly. So basically, aside from when someone's actually trying to rob you, I think there's only two real reasons why somebody would want to get into a physical street fight with you. One is that they're genuinely pissed at you. The second is that they're simply a bully and they're looking for somebody to take out their aggression on. Unfortunately, I can't tell you guys which of these situations you're going to be in when you're actually in some kind of a street conflict situation. You're simply going to have to assess that for yourselves. But it's my hope that in checking out this video, you'll have some sense so that you'll be able to do that. Okay, so genuinely pissed. Now, just because somebody's genuinely, honestly pissed at you, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's your fault, or that you did anything wrong, or that it's even anything logical or rational. Oftentimes when people get so angry that they're really ready to throw down physically, there isn't any kind of rational thinking behind it. They're simply angry. And it might have been that they had a bad day at work, and you just happened to bump into them, or you were just, in the wrong place at the wrong time with the exact thing to trigger their anger. But in any event, they see you as the reason for their anger. Now, if that's the case, your number one priority needs to be simply calming them down and then giving them a chance to be the bigger person. So, perfect example of this. When I was in my 20s, I was at a club, I was getting my techno on, and this relatively large homeboy decides to walk up on the dance floor with a very nice leather jacket and a full pitcher of beer in his hand. Damn. I'm just trying to get my dance on. And then all of a sudden I go for some pop and lock moves and I'm like, bam! I hit his beer all over the leather jacket. Now, personally, I don't think it makes any sense to wear a really nice leather jacket while you're walking around with a full pitcher of beer in the middle of a dance floor. So, don't ask me what he was thinking on that one. But anyway, he was pissed. So then he wants to get all up in my grill talking about, you need to calm down, and what the hell do you think you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking like, dog, it's a dance floor. I'm dancing. But that isn't what I say. What I say is, all right, listen, man, I'm sorry. It was my bad. I was just really into the music. I was having a good time. Everybody's here is having a good time. You don't want to spoil that, man. Like, come on, let's just let it go. And again, my bad. My apologies. Now, that doesn't mean that I acted weak or meekish in any kind of way, because I had drawn a line. And had he crossed it, I was prepared for that. His eyes were wide open, his nose was wide open, his throat was wide open. I had easy access to both of his kneecaps if necessary. And, he had a plastic pitcher of beer in his right hand, which would mean that either he had to hit me with that, which, it's light plastic, so it wouldn't hurt very much, or he'd have to try and hit me with his left, which would probably be awkward. So anyways, I was ready if necessary. But that's simply not the route that I wanted to go. So in any event, because I was so cool about it, it would have been really obvious that he was the bad guy if he tried to hit me anyway, which was going to be much better for me legally if something crazy came out of this, or if there's a chance of both of us getting kicked out or something. In any event, in this case, it actually ended up working. He calmed down, then he got to go about his business, I got to go about mine. I mean, to be honest, the guy was a lot bigger than I was, so I really didn't want to fight him anyway. But in this case, neither one of us had to figure out who was the tougher guy or who was the stronger guy. We just went about our business of doing what dudes do at clubs. Going around and trying to get phone numbers. I'm not saying this kind of thing can save you in every situation or can work in every situation, but in this case, it worked just fine for me, and it's actually worked for me in a lot of other situations as well. So moving on to the next topic, dealing with a bully. So in dealing with these guys, they're not necessarily interested in being the bigger man. For whatever reason, be it insecurity or just plain machismo or whatever, they're just much more interested in trying to establish some kind of dominance over you. in which case you need to cut that off. Now, in the previous case, you wanted to simply calm them down and then appeal to their humanity. But in dealing with these guys, you're going to want to or you're going to have to take a stand. But that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a physical one. Bullies pick on people who they think they can bully. And that isn't necessarily about size, it's simply about dominance. So you need to show them that they can't dominate you. Oftentimes, bullies may not even be bigger than you. They may actually be smaller. But they can sense a certain weakness, and that's what they want to exploit. What's up, buddy? Okay, so an example of this here in Tokyo was when I was riding my bike home one day, and I crossed the street, and this guy on a scooter almost hit me. Now, it might have been my bad, because at the time the light was red, and I just didn't see anybody, so I just decided to go. Homeboy just came screaming around the corner, almost hit me, narrowly missed, but anyway, he didn't actually hit me or anything, so I just kind of yelled back, "Sumimasen." So, anyway, he just comes around, cuts me off, gets off his scooter, and then starts rolling his R's at me. So oftentimes, at least here in Tokyo, when dudes really want to fight you, they start rolling their R's as they're speaking and making sounds like "rah" and like these kinds of things, right? So anyways, the guy's sitting there rolling his R's at me. So I'm just assuming that this is situation one, and he's just genuinely pissed because we almost had an accident. Understandable enough. So from there, I told him, I'm sorry. So in this case, I did everything just like in the last situation, and I gave the guy a chance to be the bigger guy about it. First I said in Japanese, "Sumimasen," which means excuse me. And then he still wouldn't let me go. And he didn't push me or anything, but he wouldn't get out of my way. So I just, said it again, "Gomen nasai," which means I'm sorry. Now, I was bigger than this guy. And it was winter, so I had a thick jacket on, so he couldn't see how I was built, but I was still bigger. So I thought, okay, well, either this guy's a little bit crazy, he's not very smart, he's on crack, he's got a weapon, or he's got friends around that I just can't see. But in any event, I didn't know which one it was, so I didn't want to fight the guy. You never know, right? So I decided to give it one more go. Finally, I said, "Moshiwake gozaimasen." The nicest, most polite way you can possibly say I'm sorry in Japanese. At least that I know. I mean, there might be like a higher level something, but as far as I know, that's the nicest way you could say I'm sorry. But even then, same situation, the guy still wouldn't move. So anyway, the conclusion that I came to is that this guy probably had a bad day at work, probably got yelled at his boss, and he just wants to take it out on me by bullying me because I was nice enough to accept it. And actually, he wasn't really behaving like somebody that was really angry. He wasn't yelling or screaming or anything like this. He was just kind of standing there blocking my path and kind of taunting me. So then I thought, okay, well, then I have to show this guy that I simply can't be bullied. So then I screamed at him at the top of my lungs so that everybody in the neighborhood could hear. I said, "I'm sorry. Is this what you want? Do you really want to piss me off?" So then after I did that, he just said, "Oh, sorry? Okay." And then he walked away. Now, maybe he just wanted to hear me say I'm sorry in English because I'm an English speaker, so that would mean more to him or something like that. But really, I think he simply wanted somebody to bully, and I happened to be his target this time. So I had to show him that I'm simply not going to be his target. And it worked. I didn't have to raise my fists at all. I didn't have to find out if this guy was crazy or cracked out or if he had some kind of weapon. And best of all, I didn't have to put on my visa that I have a criminal offense because I got into a fight with a local dude and ended up in jail. So anyways, guys, I really wish there was some easy way for me to tell you exactly what you have to do to talk your way out of a street fight or out of a street situation. But the fact of the matter is, it's simply case by case. At the end of the day, you need to decide for yourself what kind of a situation this is and what you need to do or say to get out of it on your own. I just hope that these examples, from my own experience, can be helpful for you. Again, if they seem like they're really genuinely angry, then first try to calm them down, relax them, and give them a chance to be the bigger person. If they're just messing with you and they just won't leave you alone, but they don't necessarily seem angry, then they're probably just bullying you. In which case, you really need to take a stand and show them that you won't tolerate it. And oftentimes, just with that, they'll back down. Because the fact of the matter is, bullies don't like getting hit or injured any more than the rest of us do. They do what they do because they think they can get away with it. So just show them that they can't get away with it with you. More episodes of How to Defeat Dudes and video discussions such as these are absolutely on the way, so please keep an eye out. Okay? Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time. Yosh!